Welcome to another monthly portfolio update. If you are stopping by for the first time, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In this video, I will share with you how much I invested in my taxable account in May, how many shares I bought, and the value of my portfolio at the end of May. But as always, before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing is not financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. With that being said, I will dive right into my portfolio update. I will start with a quick recap of my April portfolio to show you the value of the portfolio and how many shares I had before the beginning of May. The total value of my portfolio at the end of April was $83,470.28. $83,463.94 was the market value of my investments, and $6.34 was a cash amount. At the end of April, the total unrealized profit of my portfolio was $18,203.86. This was plus 27.89%. These are my holdings: 2 Vanguard ETFs and 2 BlackRock ETFs. VCN is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the Canadian market. I had 108 shares of VCN at the end of April. VFV is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. This is the Canadian version of a VOO. I had 316 shares of VFV at the end of April. XEQT is a BlackRock ETF. This is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, developed market equities outside of North America, and emerging market equities. If you want to hold a single equity ETF which is globally diversified, you might consider looking into XEQT, or its Vanguard equivalent, VEQT. I had 550 shares of XEQT at the end of April. XOU is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the US total stock market, and I had 300 shares of XOU at the end of April. I will now show you how much I invested in May and how many shares I bought. I bought 10 shares of VFV. The cost per share was $141.98. The total cost, $1,419.78. This is 58% of the amount that I invested in May. I bought 12 shares of XEQT. The cost per share was $34.44. The total cost, $413.32. This is 17% of the amount that I invested in May. I bought 10 shares of XOU. The cost per share was $59.90. The total cost, $599.03. This is 25% of the amount that I invested in May. In total, I bought 32 shares, all the ETFs combined, and the amount that I invested in May was $2,432.13. This is $315.15 less than the amount that I invested in April. As you can see, in April I invested $2,747.28, and in May I invested $2,432.13. The difference is minus $315.15. The total value of my portfolio at the end of May was $90,688.97. $90,684.76 was the market value of my investments, and $4.21 was the cash amount. At the end of May, the total unrealized profit of my portfolio was $22,992.55. This was plus 33.97%. As of May the 31st, I had 108 shares of a VCN, 326 shares of a VFV, 562 shares of XEQT, and 310 shares of XOU. Alright, let's now take a look at some quick details about each of the positions. I will start with VCN. The closing market price on May the 31st was $53.72. The quantity of shares that I had, 108. The average price, $41.44. The book value, which is how much I have invested in VCN, was $4,476.12. The market value was $5,801.76. This was 6.40% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for VCN was $1,325.64, or 29.62%. Next, we have VFV. The closing market price on May the 31st was $143.95. The quantity of shares that I had, 326. The average price, $104.98. The book value was $34,224.58. The market value was $46,927.70. This was 51.75% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for VFV was $12,703.12, or 37.12%. Then we have XEQT. The closing market price on May the 31st was $34.60. The quantity of shares that I had, 562. The average price, $26.89. The book value was $15,115.51. The market value was $19,445.20. This was 21.44% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for XEQT was $4,329.69, or 28.64%. Finally, we have XUU. The closing market price on May the 31st was $59.71. The quantity of shares that I had, 310. The average price, $44.76. The book value was $13,876. The market value was $18,510.10. This was 20.41% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for XOU was $4,634.10, or 33.40%. Stocks rebounded significantly in May. My portfolio went from being up 27.89% at the beginning of the month to 33.97% at the end of the month. This is an increase of 6.08%, and the amount that I invested in May was $2,432.13. As for the S&P 500 index, it was up 6.15% in May. This was kind of in line with my May portfolio return. This brought the S&P 500 year-to-date return back to positive territory, to 0.51%. This is a huge and fast recovery given that the S&P 500 was approaching bear market territory the week following Donald Trump's Liberation Day announcement. Somehow the market seems to be finding a way to adjust to and recover from this tariff chaos. We will see if the market will recover all the losses since January and head to a third year in a row of positive return, or if this May return will be short-lived. Whatever happens the coming months, remember that the most important thing to do for the long-term investor is to stay the course and keep dollar cost averaging on your favorite ETFs and stocks. As they say, long-term performance rests on time in the market, not market timing. Alright, feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time with another update. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up.